Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our monthly Angelscope for the sign of Pisces for the month of May 2022. So before we begin, I'd just like to welcome everyone who's returning to this monthly series, and also to welcome anyone who may be new to our angelic community. And I'd also like to invite you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and also to make sure that the all notification bell is selected. And you may want to check if you follow me regularly to make sure that all notification is still functioning and selected for you. I've even noticed on my subscriptions that it's not always there when I go back to look at it. And I've heard from other YouTubers as well that you might sometimes, some people have been unsubscribed without knowing. So just keep checking in. Also, if you like this content, then please do share, like, and leave comments, as all this helps to generate attention through the algorithms to my channel, and it also will help you to find other content that is similar to it. And also, if you haven't seen my monthly general angel reading for the month of May, I'm going to create a link in the description area below this video, and you can check that out before or after this video. And I think the last little bit of information I want to share with you is if you're looking for an angel reading, you can go to my website, theangelschool.com/services, and you can select since this is my 10th anniversary year on YouTube, you can select the first time promotional angel reading at an unlimited for this year at any time. So if you're looking for that, you can select that, or there are many other options as well. All right, so let's take a deep breath. And just really breathe into your heart space. And they showed me a sign of a cross, which is my symbol for that there's some kind of burden or struggle or challenges that you're dealing with, and sort of like feel like you're at a crossroads. There's something that just keeps coming up for you over and over again. And then I don't know why, but they wrote the word maple wood. So I don't know if they mean the maple wood, but I don't know what the reference could be. I used to work in a town in New Jersey at a church that was called Maplewood. So yeah, but there's this feeling that you're dealing with something. I'm seeing a giraffe, and it's reaching up to the higher branches and just feeding off of those higher branches. So there may be you may be looking for or searching for some kind of nourishment to help you to get your head above the circumstances. And so giraffe kind of gives you a sense of foresight, right? And you might be perceiving, you may have your eyes set on a goal in the near future, but you can't get past this block. Now, when we have blocks come up like this, we feel like, okay, I had enough of this, and then you want to start a war against it, right? Meaning your intention is, I'm trying to improve myself, and I'm willing to do anything that it takes to improve myself. And you get really sort of competitive in a way in order to do so. And the sense is that you don't want to fight with yourself, right? You don't want to fight against what you're experiencing. When something keeps coming up over and over again, it's not the time to try to figure out how to escape it, but to just be with it. Listen. Process it. And I think the feeling is that if we don't do something about it, it's going to be this really horrible experience. And remember, fear, boy, the tales that, fear is just all talk. But the talk is good enough to scare us away from things that we need to be honest about and things that we need to see or understand. Sometimes we think we have it all figured out. We think we know what the situation is. Your the hairs are standing up and you know what's going on, or you just have this sense you just know. And because as Pisces we're so intuitive, we can get a little bit of sort of righteous, right? And most of the times we're right about what we're saying, but that doesn't mean that you're wrong, but it also means that there's more. And that more would require you, the only way to get to that level, that deeper level of awareness, is to not pretend, not to pretend, because I don't think you're pretending, but to act as if you don't know, or look for what you're not seeing or what you don't know. Look for it before you pass that judgment. And even if this is about other people, this could also be about yourself. Don't just take it for granted that this is, what you've produced thus far is all that there is that is there in terms of your potential. Don't just if something keeps coming back, then that means there's something deeper for you to become aware of. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be something bad. The fear, it projects this so that it keeps us away from it. And we play right into it. The ego's, tactic of using fear and creating stories and dramas, bigger, exaggerating things. And it could be so simple, and it could be really wonderful. But the assumption is already that we're looking for something bad because it already feels bad, because we are afraid of that deeper layer. So it's very important. Let's just take a look at the archangel that we're working with. Now, I'm going to tell you personally, this card has been coming up for me a lot in 2022. It came up a lot, I think, I saw it in our readings, weekly readings. It came up for me personally a lot in my monthly and weekly reading. So I have, a monthly, weekly, and daily reading, and this archangel would either come up for me for the month or in the week. Sometimes it came up twice in several months, and repeated in weeks at a time. So this archangel Samael is, when this comes up, it means that you're on a fast track in terms of your ascension process. It also means that the way that he works with us is to bring up that challenge, that thing that we're ignoring, and presents it over and over again, because his purpose is to remove the walls that we've put up, that our ego has set up for us, and to then eradicate the ego in that subject or completely. And this is something that we there's layers, of course. And so, but the thing is that whatever, when this archangel comes up, it's really important to trust the process, and trust that you're right where you need to be. You don't need to fight it. You need to be right where you are. And you need to see whatever it is that you are not seeing. Now, notice, I love this card because he holds this bowl. Maybe I should pick it up so you can see it a little bit closer. And the bowl has cracks in it. And last night I saw this, my friend from Korea invited me to a famous Korean film director, Hong Sang-soo, I think it is his first name. And what really was amazing for me last night is how he talked about how he didn't like to prepare. You know, he writes the script like the day before, and he gives it to the actors. They got like 90 minutes. He doesn't like to do retakes. He likes it to be organic and spontaneous. He doesn't want people thinking too much. And there was something else he said last night when he was interviewed at a talk, and he's this kind of person who he talked about that people try to be consistent, and that we just aren't that way, and so he just gave me this whole idea that we just need to embrace the cracks. Like in this bowl, we need to embrace ourselves. We need to embrace the way that we're wired. We need to stop fighting ourselves. The ego is trying to convince you that you have problems all over you and all inside of you and all around you, when all of those things are there for a reason, and they are perfect. They are perfectly imperfect. And you and I, we need to stop trying to be perfect all the time. We need to stop competing with ourselves. And I think what he's talking about is just being intuitive. When we try to perfect things, or we try to be consistent, well, nothing flows in that kind of order. Especially with us, because we have souls and we have minds and we have hearts, and all of these things are speaking, or jumping out at us, and we either fight all of that or we go with all of that and see what happens. And I can tell you that this is something that my voice teacher taught me, and the way that they taught me, it was so unconventional in terms of the way a normal voice lesson goes, that it drove me crazy, only because my voice kept improving. I kept having these intuitive, connections with my own body and my voice. And even though I haven't studied in a couple of years, the process has continued, and the growth and expansion, and it's all just an intuitive process. But I had to break down certain barriers. Number one was criticism. And what my teacher got me to do was just to notice instead of criticizing. Notice. When I made a mistake, notice. Whatever happens, whether it was good or bad, just notice. Don't judge, don't praise, just notice. And that broke a habit of me being very judgmental in practice. But the thing is we really have to embrace who we are. We're imperfectly perfect. Your life is imperfectly perfect. Stop looking for it to be perfect. Perfectly perfect. It is imperfectly perfect. And that means that you are like, it's like we're flowing when our lives are imperfectly perfect. We're flowing. We're open to all the components of the universe: soul, mind, body, higher self, God, universe, all of that to flow with us, flow through us, and we get to choose intuitively what to flow with. And if we got into this intuitive flow, there would be no rigidity. There would be no way to create fear. It's the criticism that creates it, because once you criticize yourself, you make yourself feel bad, and it's like this punitive system, and it just keeps feeding on itself. All right, so let's take a look at, boy, this card just keeps coming up a lot. Wise Counselor. Now, this is interesting because this card is all about those traditions, and beliefs, and like the things that we keep trying to perfect. It's sort of like, in our belief systems, our traditions, our cultures, we are trying to conform. We're always trying to, when we try to conform, that means we're trying to assimilate. It means we're trying to keep repeating something or reproducing something. And we're afraid of any change because we can, and sometimes we get superstitious about. That's where our superstitions come from, because we have these traditions and these values, and if they're altered in any way, we are superstitious. It's this sort of a OCD kind of thing that we can develop, and I think we all have it because we all are dependent upon patterns, repetitiveness, this consistency. And the freedom is really in the inconsistency and the imperfectly perfectness of yourself and your awareness of all of the aspects of you that is floating around you and through you and is becoming you and manifesting as an outward expression of you. So it looks like that we may need to look at how it looks like our beliefs are going to be pushing us in some ways, that we're either find ourselves attached to them, and that we need to learn how to detach from them, not let them rule us, but let them be an instinct, but out of our own consciousness or our own awareness, our own inclinations. Don't let it be something that is a construct that you feel bound by, and because it was taught to you, you can't have freedom from it. All right, so the way that this might be unfolding for you. So this card says relief. So you might be able to work with this by finding relief from this little tug of war with yourself, this battle of words, the inner sort of feelings of defeat. The Five of Air is the card before this, and it's usually a card of defeat, of manipulation through thoughts and ideas that are communicated. So look at the ways that you communicate to yourself. Are you compassionate? Or do you have to twist your arm to do something? Do you think about what you get to do or what you have to do? Because what you have to do is not so intuitive. That's following some kind of construct. But what you get to do is more intuitive because it was inspired to you. It comes out of something you're looking forward to, something that all of a sudden occurred to you. It can be even spontaneous. So there is something that you need to be aware of. Be aware of the way you create. Which aspect of yourself creates your reality? Is it the intuitive one or this ego? Do you often say, I have this to do? Is this what you're doing all day? I got to do this. I have 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 to do this. Or are you saying, I get to do this. I get to do this. I get to do this. You know, oh boy, I'm excited to do this. Or, oh, this just occurred to me. I want to do this. Let's try this. So see ways that you can be more intuitive, Pisces, in your spiritual practice, in your daily interactions and unfolding. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have a beautiful month of May. God bless you.